Let's talk about carnivore diet and water fasting, because some people do both and it doesn't always work out all that great. Welcome back to my channel. I am Sylvia. I'm a carnivore diet coach and a big city mom. If you've done a carnivore diet for a period of time, you'll know that satiety is really high. In fact, the science knows that you can tolerate about 5,000 calories tops from proteins, and then if you don't break it up with some carbohydrate, you won't be able to eat past that point. So we end up eating usually twice a day, sometimes once a day, and we are perfectly satiated. Now, there are some people that on top of this, they will try to induce some more fasting. I recently was dealing with somebody in my coaching practice that went through about 10 fasts in 1 year, and they were usually 3 to 5 days fast. That is a lot of fasting on top of eating off carnivore diet. Well then, so the question gets to be, can you successfully water fast and do carnivore diet? And for the most part, I would say yes, as long as it isn't too extreme. For example, like a fast that is 5 days long every other month. That is a little bit too much, especially if you are already on the carnivore diet and you don't need to lose any more weight. Probably not the best idea, but if you're young, healthy, athletic, you can probably pull it off. But what are the circumstances where you should not be fasting if you are already on the carnivore diet? The very first case where I don't recommend water fasting is if you are dealing with a chronic disease and it's going on for a really long time, meaning 10, 15 years, you have taken tons of prescription medication to manage your symptoms, but you aren't getting any better. And out of desperation, you ended up on the carnivore diet. At that point, don't add water fasting to it, because you are likely depleted from a lot of nutrients. So take some time, maybe 3, 6, 8, 10 months, a year, to really nourish your body. And if you do carnivore diet with healthy fats, you throw in some organ meats, you will heal your body. But I would not throw in fasting on top of that, because it is additional stress and your body is already stressed. Your body already needs to recover from prescription medication that was just managing your symptoms and wasn't making you better. If you are doing carnivore diet with ketosis and you are really successful with staying in ketosis, I don't recommend water fasting on top of that. And that's because ketogenic diet, especially if you are staying in a continuous ketosis over 2, is already a fast mimicking diet, except that you don't starve yourself but not eating. So a lot of metabolic processes that are happening during a water fast are happening if you are in continuous ketosis. So example of such diet would be paleoketogenic diet. It is a carnivore diet with restriction of proteins, and about 80% of your calories will come from saturated animal fats. You will be in ketosis over 2, and if you stick with the diet, those ketosis will continue, and sometimes you actually have to do something to bring down your ketosis. I don't recommend water fast at that stage. My next point is somewhat related to the ketogenic diet, and that is if you are getting into ketosis and your ketosis go really high. And I know of some cases that will go on the ketogenic diet, they'll do the 2:1 fat to protein ratio, or they will eat 80% of their calories from saturated fats. And for most people, ketosis will be around 2, 2.5, but for some people, they're right away 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 7 in ketosis. Not a good idea to go into a water fast, because again, fasting induces ketosis as well. So what you want to do is you want to actually bring down your ketosis. The ideal spot is around 2, and for some people more appropriate would be 1.2 to 1.5, maybe 1.8. Because if your ketosis are this high, the most frequent complaint is that you cannot sleep. And the same thing happens if you are doing water fast. Oftentimes people can't sleep, and that's because ketosis gets too high, besides other aspects that you just feel hungry and so on. But physiologically, the reasoning is that you can't sleep is because your ketosis go through the roof. So what you want to do is bring it down, but fasting is not the way to do it. You have to add some carbohydrates. I don't recommend fasting if you are working on improving of your fertility. The female body works the best if it has an experience of abundance and safety, optimal conditions. Because you are signaling to your body that it is safe and it is abundant enough, there's enough food around to feed you and your baby. But if you start restricting food, worse yet, eliminating it altogether for a few days, what you are telling to your body, it is a period of famine, it is not safe to reproduce. Therefore, your body will employ metabolic changes to your hormones so that you may even stop ovulating. In fact, this did happen to me. Some time ago, I was doing very well with the paleoketogenic diet. I was in ketosis, 2.5, 3, and so on for 3 months. And then I decided, oh, let me do some water fasting. I haven't done that in a long time. Well, guess what? My menstrual cycle stopped. And until I started eating, brought down my ketosis, I did not ovulate. And after I started eating carbs, just a little bit was enough to kickstart ovulation, and then my menstrual cycle came back. Similarly, if you are planning to get pregnant sometime soon, 3, 4, 5, 6 months out, don't fast. Again, you want to signal to your body that you are in the perfect circumstances to for you and your baby, for you to be pregnant, for you to nourish your body and nourish the body of your baby, and it is safe to give birth, and then after you give birth there is a lot of food to go around. Otherwise, your body might be stressed out and might make a decision, it is not safe to reproduce, so let's not do it at this time. So don't fast if you are planning to get pregnant. Okay, this may be surprising for some of you, but I don't recommend fasting if you are taking tons of supplements. And by that I mean like 20 or 30 different pills throughout the day for extended period of time. I personally don't recommend such amounts of supplements, but it is not uncommon for me to come across clients that take this many supplements. And then the decision is being made that let's do some intermittent fasting. And so the first thing in the morning, there's a first round of supplements, about 10 of them, that are being chased just with water on an empty stomach. I've actually witnessed somebody once do this and throw up 20 minutes later. So either stop taking supplements and do fasting, or don't do fasting if you have to take supplements. Your stomach will tolerate it a lot better if there is some food along with all these supplements. Better yet, scale back on all the supplements. For the most part, you don't need them. Don't fast if you are really, really lean. I mean, underweight. If you do a water fasting at that point, you will negatively affect your hormones. And the next logical consequence, especially if you are a female, you're gonna mess up your menstrual cycle, and if you are a guy, you're gonna start losing muscle like crazy. There's also another case of people being underweight due to SIBO, especially the ones that is induced by hydrogen bacteria. These kind of conditions result with never-ending diarrhea, and it takes really long time for the carnivore diet to kick in and to restore the optimal bacteria in the gut, and for the food absorption to happen normally again. So if you throw in water fasting on top of it, the weight loss is crazy. So a lot of my SIBO clients are really underweight, especially those with the hydrogen bacteria. I don't recommend water fasting on top of that. Like, I try to design the diet in such a way that we can gain weight and fast as well. So please don't fast if you are severely underweight. Not a good idea. I also don't recommend water fasting if you are really physically active. I say prioritize animal proteins and fats and throw in even some carbohydrates, but water fasting, if you are like in the gym, weightlifting 5 times a week, plus run and do some yoga or maybe Pilates on top of that, your body is already on a very high metabolism and it needs lots of calories. So you probably shouldn't be restricting them. Not that it cannot be done. There are studies done on people that were exercising while fasted and they did just fine. But in my opinion, it isn't optimal. You are already putting a lot of work through different avenues to optimize the health and functioning of your body. And at that stage, if under those circumstances, water fasting is just not appropriate. Said all of that, I am not against water fasting. I've done it myself successfully many times. Fasting is an excellent tool for detox. In fact, in my opinion, water fasting is probably the best detox tool, and you can get rid of a lot of old damaged cells by virtue of water fasting. What I want to convey to you is that you want to do water fasting when appropriate, for the appropriate duration of time, for the right person with the right goal in mind. There are circumstances that I listed where water fasting isn't indicated. Alright, I hope this has been helpful. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with anybody that you think will benefit from this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!